There are moments when you're getting to know someone that you realize something deep and buried in you is deep and buried in them too. It feels like meeting a stranger you've known your entire life. Leah Rader. I love Leah's quote because it's a reminder for all of us that this is the jus of life. What if every single moment of our day we met strangers that we've known our entire lives? How can we build relationships with people where it develops so quickly that we get to enjoy the benefit of having hundreds of lifelong friends? Which is exactly why in this week's episode of Master Talk, I'm going to teach you the art of how to get people to like you really, really quickly. So let's get there right now. Number one, figure out the energy levels of the other person you're speaking to and adapt to them quickly so they fall in love with you. Think about it. There's different people in the world, in case you didn't know. There's people who are loud and obnoxious like me, and there's also people who are quiet and more introverted, and everything in between, to the jokester, to the person who's a bit more sarcastic than they should be, and the list goes on. But your role as the person that everyone likes is to adapt your energy like a shapeshifter to the person you're communicating with. Let me give you a practical example in my life. Whenever I guest on a podcast, I get different types of hosts. Sometimes the host is, "What's up, Brendan? How are you doing today? How's your life going?" And I always respond with the same enthusiasm because that's exactly who I am as an individual. But the opposite is also true. Hi, Brendan. It's really great to meet you, and I'm really excited about this. So when I meet that type of host, I lower my vocal tone variety. I adapt my energy and ask questions like, "Paula, is this your first time doing a podcast interview?" Where they then reply, "Yes, it's my first time doing a podcast interview." So I would say something, "Let's take it one step at a time." Whereas with the other host, I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do a show. I'm excited." So notice how the energy level is changing. And many of you listening to this might see it as disingenuous, and I completely disagree. It's not about being disingenuous. It's about having the empathy to take care of our fellow human beings and adapt in a way that makes them feel comfortable. Imagine if I was the same loud extrovert with that poor little girl who was interviewing me. I would have ruined her day. That's the point I want to drive. Are you willing to adapt to the other person? Because if you are, trust me, most people you will meet in your life will fall in love with you. Number two, find common ground between you and the other person as quickly as possible. In many cases, this is easy to do. So let's say you love collecting pens and you go to a pen collecting conference. It's really easy for you to just talk about pens with people around you and you already have something in common. But in other cases, this is more challenging. I would say out of every point of commonality, the one that is the most effective is introductions by other human beings. So if you go up to someone and you say, "Oh, do you know George? I know George." There's an immediate commonality there that's built, a bond that is very strong. And your last resort, if none of this works, is to ask thoughtful questions about the other person's life until you find a point of commonality. So one that I like a lot that I use is when I go to different conferences and events in different cities across the world, or just in my local city, I can then meet people, let's say in Los Angeles, who live in Montreal. So when I go up to them and I go, "Oh, you're from Montreal too," it's a lot easier for me to build that rapport with them. But you don't just have to do it with the city too. You can do it with a favorite podcast, a passion project that you might have, maybe a vacation or travel spot that both of you have traveled to in the past. So always listen for that point of commonality and bring it up as often as possible so that people trust you as quickly as possible too. Number three, take the initiative to openly communicate the types of relationships that you want to build. If you've ever met me in real life, you would have realized really quickly that I'm not the type of person who talks about the weather or negativity that plagues the news. I'm all about dreams, passions, what lights you on fire. I don't talk about the Kardashians, though I'm sure there's nothing wrong with those people. But the key that I want to drive here is when you openly communicate who you are, the world will conspire around you to make sure you meet those types of people. So I ask you, what are the questions in your life that you're the most excited to talk about? Whether it says something to do with molecular biology or something weird like that, or starting a YouTube channel, then the next step is really finding meetups of people who believe the same things that you believe, who want to ask themselves the same questions that you do. And then when you do that, it'll be a lot easier for you to actually build relationships with people you care about, which in my case are builders. People who want to build something important with their lives. Those are the individuals I'm always gravitated to. So I'm always taking time to meet more people like that. So figure out who is that ideal person for you, and trust me, the world will open up for you. There are moments when you're getting to know someone that you realize deep buried inside that is deep buried inside within them too. It almost feels like meeting a stranger that you've known your entire life. Leah Rader. Leah is so spot on this because when we meet people that we're destined to meet, it changes our physiology. It changes our mood. We go, wow, I'm so grateful I met this person. What if every single day of your life you met somebody like that? How would your world change? And that's why my final point on this, because I know you care since you made it to the end of this video, is to take initiative. Don't wait for those relationships to appear in front of you. Go to the conference. Ask your friends for introductions. Schedule an hour of your week just to meet new people, because it's the people who take initiative that get results. So if you're serious about building lifelong friends, invest the time to meet lifelong friends. As always, if you enjoyed this week's episode of Master Talk, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well to see more videos like this. And if you know one person who's interested in building relationships, being a little bit more likable for different reasons that you don't have to tell me, be sure to send them this video so that they'll be one step closer to achieving their relationship goals. Take care, everyone. See you next time.